House of the Dragon is officially coming back for a fourth season in 2028. Ryan Condal also says that fourth season will end the series. So the renewal question is settled. The uncomfortable question is whether the story can actually fit. Full fire and blood spoilers from here because this is not a video about dates. It is about narrative debt. After the Battle of the Gullet, the show still owes us the fall of capitals, the collapse of armies, the destruction of dragons, the deaths of rival claimants, and the strange child who inherits whatever remains. Westeros has put the bill on the table. HBO has apparently given the show one more season to pay it. The dance has at least 4 endings, and television has to make all 4 feel earned. There's a military ending, who controls King's Landing and which armies still exist. There is a dragon ending. The war destroys the creatures that made this family exceptional. There is a claimant ending. Rhaenyra and Aegon cannot both survive the logic of the conflict. Then there is the political ending, where exhausted adults place a traumatized child on the throne and call the result peace. If the series stops at one spectacular death, it finishes a character arc, but not the dance. If it rushes through the aftermath, the war becomes a very expensive argument about who gets the chair, followed by somebody quietly changing the nameplate. The cleanest solution is not making Season 4 faster. It is making Season 3 carry more of the war. The premiere already did that. Instead of spending 3 episodes approaching the Gullet, the show opened by detonating it. Aegon is already in flight, Aemond is already sitting in power, Daemon already has Northern Steel beside him, and Rhaenyra's succession has already been wounded. That is aggressive compression, but it creates room. For Season 4 to breathe, Season 3 probably needs to deliver Rhaenyra's rise, at least one major collapse inside Team Green, and the beginning of the Dragonseed fracture. Taking King's Landing cannot be the final season's opening move if the show also wants the occupation, the backlash, the dragon crisis, and the endgame to have emotional oxygen. The problem is that adaptation compression never removes only events. It removes causes. Minor claimants can be combined. Battles can happen off-screen. Messengers can become one conversation. But when the show moves Nettles into Rhaena, folds naval chaos into Jace's death, or accelerates Hugh and Ulf, it also changes why later betrayals and breakdowns happen. Theron is especially important here. If the Southern War enters late, his entire rise, moral conflict and relationship to Tumbleton must arrive at frightening speed. Adam needs enough time for loyalty to mean something before suspicion turns against him. The Dragon Pit needs a city whose anger has been built, not a crowd that receives a calendar invite saying Tuesday, overthrow dragons. The danger is not missing lore. It is reaching every famous image after cutting the emotional road that leads there. There are 3 plausible ways this works. Model 1 is the strongest. Season 3 ends with Rhaenyra holding the capital while the victory is already rotting underneath her. Season 4 then becomes the collapse, the God's Eye, Tumbleton's consequences, the Dragon Pit, the rival claimants' endings, and the short hour of the Wolf epilogue. Model 2 is harsher compression. Season 4 races through the remaining battles and treats the accession of Aegon the Younger as a final montage. It reaches the facts, but risks making grief feel like bullet points. Model 3 chooses an emotional endpoint over a complete political one. The series could end near the deaths of the main claimants, then use text, or a brief coda for the settlement. That may satisfy viewers following Rhaenyra. It would not fully explain what the war did to Westeros. There is a fair counter-argument. Fire and Blood feels enormous, because it records campaigns, rumors, and contradictory testimony, not because every event requires an episode. Television can combine battles around one character decision. It can let a single council scene explain 3 months of political change. It can make one ruined city stand for several. The premiere proved that an hour can contain a major battle, Jace's death, Aegon's escape, Aemon's new authority, and the arrival of northern forces without becoming completely unreadable. Completely is doing some work there, but the point stands. 4 seasons can be enough if the writers know which consequences deserve screen time. The schedule is not fatal. Indecision about the ending would be. My prediction is that Season 3 moves Rhaenyra into King's Landing earlier than cautious viewers expect. Not because the trailer proves an episode number. It does not. Because the final season mathematics almost demands it. Her occupation needs time to become a trap. The dragon seeds need time to become a class of political actors rather than 2 men waiting for their book spoiler. The people of the city need time to move from relief to hunger to rage. And Rhaenyra needs time to discover that winning the throne is not the same as controlling the realm. If Season 3 ends before that machinery begins, Season 4 will have to sprint through tragedy wearing very expensive boots. HBO has confirmed the destination. This season now has to prove the road still exists. Would you rather see the complete political ending, or a slower final season that stops once the main Targaryen tragedy is emotionally complete?